Hello again, Internet. It's me, Nicholas E. And I wanted to talk to you real quick just about some idols that are everyday idols here in the United States. I wanted to go over them real quick with you and talk to you about uh, solutions to our idolatry problem. So I'm just going to start listing off some idols here. I've probably already mentioned this in other videos, but I'm just going to go over it again. So the air conditioner heater, that's an idol, and the refrigerator, that is also an idol. And these things weren't around, and these things have only been around for maybe the past 100 years, maybe 200. As I've constantly explained and have said on this on this channel, the car, the computer, the cell phone, washer dryer, projectors, automated machines, manufacturing technology, and those automated machines and manufacturing technology also they create idols. So here I have uh, a, a statue that inside of it contains a sense gratification idol, and these are just some other examples of statues that I just have around my house. Because and then this is what manufacturing technology allows us to make, right? It's our little plastic disposable statues that we pay tribute to, we worship, and we worship the sense gratification contained within inside the statue. And automated machines and manufacturing technology allow us to create these statues. Lawnmower, vacuum cleaners, tanks are metal gods, and they're illegal. So I like to think about when you're say you're in a gang, and your gang is we're gonna go fight this gang over here, and before you go into the fight, you're well, you can bring bricks, sticks, chains, knives, guns. Well, one of the banned things here on Earth is metal gods, and if I were to go back in time and try and describe a tank to somebody, I would be like, this is a metal god, because it's language that can be transferred over generations. Tractors, bulldozers, steam shovels, and trains. All these things also allow us to extract resources from our environment and abuse the environment which we inhabit at a greater rate than we would otherwise be able to if we were just working the land with human hands. And it also allows people to accumulate money illegally by not following scriptural injunction. And trains, airplanes, oil rigs, and cargo ships. These are all idols. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to go over these idols real quick and be like, oh yeah, this is what the Bible is trying to describe to this place. And if you think about it, half the wildlife has died in the last uh, 40 years, and the oceans are acidifying, and a lot of this has to do with uh, the idols that people worship. And I can tell you who's not harming the environment and who is not causing planetary disease, and that would be indigenous peoples, uh, Hasidic Jews, and the Amish. And it's because the indigenous people don't worship idols because they haven't developed technology. And I feel like idolatry and technology are what the Bible is talking about. The Lord is trying to plead with this place and be like, children's, I'll give you everything that you need. Don't worship statues, don't worship technology. There will just be natural abundance if you don't worship these tools and these toys and these gizmos. And we just have ignored him, and we're seeing the planetary disease that has come about as a result of that, as a result of ignoring the Lord's instructions. And there's some more idols that I kind of left out. Chemicals, so pesticides, cleaning supplies, any chemical invented after 1900, essentially. Nuclear armaments, and to go with that, a lot of weapons and guns fall under idols. And then corporations, like all these corporate logos, and these corporations are a corporation is a false god. Same thing, like an imaginary entity that doesn't actually exist, that people invented, that they pay tribute to and work for. That's like the very definition of a false god, is a corporation. And all these idols that I like listed here, these are all statues. And if you want to maximize GDP, well, then what you should try and do is to maximize the amount of statue worship, right? And all of these idols that I have listed here are components and part of our GDP and our religion and gross domestic product. So I also feel like this high tech economy, this high tech world that we now live in, this modern civilization, is high entropy. So love is low entropy, which means it's high. It has a high. It's like very structured and very orderly, and love is like a very orderly thing, and like high entropy is not love. And what we want to be is a low entropy, high love society, and not a high entropy, low love society. And I feel like that this high technology society has moved us to a higher state of entropy than we were in the past. In the past, the stability of the world was a much stabler place in the past without all this technology and all these toys and gizmos. Um, and also that makes sense too. Like everything I just said makes sense, because this thing is like, don't play with toys and gizmos and idols and high technology. Don't use technology. And that's what that's how the Amish interpret this, and and the Hasidic Jews, and that's the way that they interpret this thing. And I agree with that. That makes sense. Like God is love, right? So God's message to this place is like, don't play with toys, don't play with technology, don't play with idols, because that will move you to a state of higher entropy, a lower level of love, like a less orderly society. And we think that modern civilization is like great, and it's like the next big thing, and it's the future. We're like in the future, but that's not true. That's a lie. Uh, there's no new thing under the sun. The future is in the past, actually, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it kind of does. Like, uh, what society should look like is what the Amish do, which is a low entropy, very orderly, very highly structured society, instead of what we do today, which is like high entropy, very chaotic, not a lot of order, not a lot of structure. So all these toys and gizmos and gadgets and idols, they're idols, have moved us to higher entropy, lower love society. And there's this in the new Jungle Book movie, there's this clip that I'm going to play for you.
Oh, don't forget the truce.
I know the law, Bucks.
What is that?
Weird. That's weird.
Mowgli, what was the rule about your tricks?
It's not the wolf way.
No more tricks. Chin up, little one. We'll make you a fine wolf yet.
And what it is like the little boy who lives with the pack of wolves. They had a drought, so the watering hole is like at a really low level, and all the animals come and declare a truce because everybody's thirsty and there's like no water anywhere. So all the animals are just like, anybody can come here, and it's like nobody will harm the meat eaters, won't attack the herbivores, and the herbivores won't trample over the meat eaters, and everybody will just drink water because holy cow, there's a drought. And the little boy tosses out this bucket and gathers water that way. And the wolves and the panthers is like, no tricks. Like, and you should know that, human. You're not allowed to use tricks because you're a human. And I feel like that the Holy Bible is like, hey guys, no technology. You're not allowed to use technology. You're not allowed to use these toys, these gizmos, these gadgets. You're not supposed to use that stuff. It's breaking the code. It's breaking the rules. It's breaking the code of the jungle. And this is like Western civilization's big problem right now. And you see it with global warming and ocean acidification, and all the animals are dead. Half the wildlife is gone. Half the forests are gone. And it's because we don't follow scriptural injunction, and we use technology and toys and gizmos and gadgets and idols, which is illegal. And like I said before, if you want to know who's not harming the earth, well, it's people that actually like sincerely follow the Bible, like the Amish and indigenous peoples. And there's probably some like toy, gizmo, or gadget that comes up as a result of continuous idolatry and idol worship, and it's something that we can't see, but will eventually like show up if we continue on the current course that we are. And also, I think that's like what the Bible is trying to communicate to this place is like, there are these toys, there are these gadgets, and you don't want them because they will cause you harm. Like they will hurt your civilization, and they will like hurt you. And you like don't want it. I kind of think that something like this is probably like one of the most common things in the universe. I like sincerely think that this is like a very common thing. And maybe this is what Satan is, actually. It wouldn't surprise me. So I just wanted to go over that real quick. I hope this is like informative. It's pretty simple. And as I said before, essentially anybody that like harvests oil today is using more than their allotment. And anybody that like burns coal today is using more than what they were allocated. Yeah. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and cheers. Bye.